How's that?
Yes.
All right, we have contact.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yes, I think I
Oh,
had
good.
mute on my headphones, so I just checked it and it went off mute. So it looks like we're good to go. Well, thank you so much, Garrett, for making time today. I appreciate this a lot,
Yeah, no
Espe-
problem.
especially on short notice. Is the volume okay? Yeah.
I can hear you just fine.
Well, great. Well, thanks. Hey, listen, as you may or may not know, I do these interviews with customers that are willing to do it, and we chit chat about your experience and about your chair and whatnot. And so maybe we could begin by just talking about the chair that you have. You have the Infinity IT 8500, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Well, how
And
long have you had it? Tell me a little bit about how you came to decide on that chair and what journey you went through to get there.
oh man. Well, originally I was looking at a few Osaki chairs from my local furniture store, and I was really kind of iffy about them, and I ended up actually watching your videos. I found you on YouTube, uh, and
Great.
I sat and watched your videos probably for 3 weeks straight. So when I called, I have to admit, when I called and you answered the phone, I was a little starstruck. I'm like, wow, this guy
Yeah,
actually answers his phone and is a real person. Yeah, I was blown away.
yeah, it's
Uh,
legit.
yeah, I kind of figured you were the face, but didn't actually do any part of it, and I'd get some sleazy salesman or something.
Well, you got that. So,
Right.
but I do way too much. I keep business people keep telling me I need to delegate more and have other people do stuff. So maybe someday I won't be answering the phone all the time. But I'm glad I got it for you.
Whatever you're doing now works great. But
Thanks.
I was like, it's crazy to call somebody that I saw on YouTube, but I need to know more about these massage chairs, and I don't know anything
No.
about them. I'm not a doctor, so I don't normally have a massage chair. I'm not very wealthy. This is my first time.
Hmm.
I got it as a graduation gift for graduating school, and so I didn't know anything about it. So I called, and I was like, hey, I'm looking at this chair, but I'm not going to buy it through you. And then you were like, oh, well, that's okay, but you won't get very good quality with that Osaki. Try looking at this Infinity instead, even if it's not through me. And I was like, oh well, I never heard of a person doing that before.
Were you
And
were you looking at the 7075,
you know, I
Yosaki 7075?
it was the one with the head thing that
Yeah.
was, yeah, yeah.
That's the one chair I try to steer people away from because of its history. It's got a very high failure rate, so
Right,
I ordinarily don't direct people to another chair if they want one, but
right.
try to save you some
Well,
trouble.
and it really got me because you were even like, I'd probably make more money off the Osaki, but this other one's a better chair. And
Yeah.
uh, and so I started watching all the videos, of course, and doing as much research as I could. And one of the big features was the foot rollers I wanted, and I was like, you know what? Despite the fact that I have a credit line at my furniture store, I'm going to try this guy out and see what it is. So I called you, and I love it. I got the chair back in. It was right around Thanksgiving, so it was the week before Thanksgiving, I think, is when I placed the order, and
Okay.
I got the chair sometime in early December, I think. Yeah.
I actually remember processing your order. I was in California training our staff for the grand opening of our Southern California store, and I was at the hotel that night. And I was beat because we'd been going all day, and I remember that was when I processed your order through Synchrony Bank. Now, from the start, and by the way, thanks for trusting us with your business. That means a lot to me.
Yeah.
I'm glad you ended up with us. But tell me, how long of a period was it from the time that you decided, okay, I'm going to get a massage chair to the time you got one? How long was that? Was it a month? Was it a few weeks? Was it 6 months?
Well, I decided I was gonna get a massage chair the first week I started school, which was August of 2014.
Oh,
Oh, and I knew it was the one at my local furniture store, so I had it set in my mind for a year and 3 months or so before I finally called you, because it was kind of a pipe dream. So I guess when I got serious was probably about a month before I called you.
okay.
Uh, I started doing research and started watching videos, and then I called you and you gave me some suggestions, and I want to say it was maybe a week later that I finally was like, okay, I'm ready to place the order.
Were you when I suggested that chair to you, were you overwhelmed by all the options out there? Or were you pretty much fixated on that one model until I kind of directed you to the 8500?
You know, I was fixated on that model only because it was the best option in my price range that my furniture store offered.
Right.
And it was a bit overwhelming. There's a lot of models, and
Yeah.
since I'm not a massage chair guy, you know, I didn't know a whole lot about them. So honestly, when you guided me to the Infinity, it was kind of like, you know, I felt like I had been lost at sea, just trying to figure out my own way, and I finally had you be my lighthouse, so to speak.
Good. Well, I'm glad.
You know, I didn't know what to really look for, and you know, every review you see online or every video of every massage chair is, well, this is the best massage chair ever made, of course, and so it's really hard to kind of pick through that without somebody who knows what they're talking about.
Right. Well, I'm glad you found that chair. Now, tell me a little bit about your experience with the chair since you've owned it. Was it what you expected? Was it different? What were the things you liked about it? What things that you would like to see different done on it, if anything? How did you feel?
It's fantastic. It surpassed my expectations.
Wow.
I use it every other day at least for 15 to 35 minutes a day.
Wow.
And it's amazing. The stretch program, I just can't even explain.
It's a good one, huh?
Yeah. Well, you know, I'll get in it and I'll put it on the relax program to kind of warm me up, so to speak. And then I'll do that for about 10 minutes or so, and then I'll put it on the stretch program, and it's incredible. In fact, you know, you feel it in your lower back, where like right where your pelvis attaches to your vertebrae. And after about a week of doing it, I actually had that vertebrae pop.
Oh, really?
And yeah, and like, cause every time it would pull on me, I'm like, I feel like I'm so close to it popping and like aligning properly, you know?
Yeah.
It took a week, but it finally did it, and it was amazing. I felt like I gained an inch. I was like, I'm a new man.
That's cool. Well, you know, those shoulder airbags that pin the upper body down, a lot of other chairs have the airbags in the feet that pull the legs down, but that chair has the shoulder airbags, which really accentuates the stretch, and I can see how it could release that fixated joint.
Well, and it, in addition, the recline when you're in the stretch program is such that you're almost upside down, so
Yeah.
your body weight kind of pulls you the opposite direction also.
Yeah.
But no, I love it. The only, I mean, I didn't get the white glove because and it was, and I'm a pretty handy guy, and I got a roommate who's a really strong dude, and it was a chore to get that thing put together because it was so heavy. So I would suggest the white glove treatment for anybody who's buying a massage chair, but you know, because I'm only 31, my roommate's 36, and he's in CrossFit, and I'm a pretty fit guy, but it was tough. But
no, are you talking about it was tough to move it or tough to actually assemble it?
Oh no, assembly was fine. Moving it was I mean, that thing is so
rare.
And it's really an awkward heavy. You know, if it had handles on it or something, it wouldn't be so bad, but it's a really awkward kind of space to be able to move.
Well, did you move it into your house in the box, or did you take it out of the box before you moved it in?
I moved it into the door in the box, and then I only made it to the landing, and then I had to take it downstairs to its final destination. So the stairs were really the bear of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if I were to do it again, I would pay the extra couple $100 to have somebody assemble it for me, definitely. But the only issue I've ever had with it is where the arm kind of connects into the air hoses. When I was putting it together, I must have been too rough on it because the little bracket that connects there, a piece of plastic on it broke. But I ended up taking it apart. Again, I'm kind of handy, and I made a little metal piece that attaches it. So.
Oh, really?
It's been great. It's never disappointed. It's a great.
Good.
Chair.
Now, do you when you use the chair, do you have the neck and head airbag headpiece and the pad down, or do you have it up and over the back of the chair?
I like to have it down for the first 10 minutes of my massage in the relax, because the relax program uses the head one. And then when I switch over to the stretch program, it just kind of naturally comes off because the stretch program pushes it off.
Right.
I just let it go. But
have you found the neck massage in the other programs like the I think it's the oh, for heaven's sake, recover and what's the restore or renew? I can't remember, but do you find that the neck massage is too aggressive for you, or do you like it? Because it's a very strong neck and shoulder massage.
You know, I actually didn't really find it very effective. Usually those are kind of my least favorite ones, just because it spends a lot of time in the neck, and I don't know if it's just my neck, but it doesn't quite hit the spots on my neck where it does anything.
Okay.
So it kind of gets at the base of my head when it does it, and it's just not very effective. So
right.
that's not one that I ever really care that much about, if I'm honest. It doesn't really do much for me. Not like
okay, no. Well, one of the highlights of that chair that people like, one of the things is the stretch, yes. The other thing is the neck massage, because a lot of chairs don't have a strong neck massage, and the 8500 does, but it, you know, like you just mentioned, it's got to feel right to you, and if it doesn't, well, then use the programs that do.
Yeah, everybody's different, and you know, I think it just maybe my neck is a weird shape or something. I don't know. I could see how other people would really like it, but it's not really mine.
It's not your cup of tea.
Not mine. Not as much as like the foot rollers are.
Yeah, the foot rollers are nice on that chair. Some chairs are too intense, others are too light. That like Goldilocks, that's just right.
Yeah. There's this one program that in the Relax program where it will move your feet and your body to one side, and it's almost like it's going over a corn on the cob on the foot roller or something. And when it does that, there's one big lump on the foot roller that hits the outside of your foot when it's moving across it, and that is like heaven to me. I don't know what it is, but whenever that one big lump hits and my foot's going this direction, it's like, oh, that was great.
I've never heard that before. Next time I sit in, I'm going to have to notice that.
Yeah.
But I do like that because the airbags kind of shear your feet across the rollers, and that you know, there's the rolling action and then the shearing of your foot across the rollers, which is nice.
It's great.
Now, when you got that chair, were there any kind of physical complaints that you had, like I needed it for back pain or for shoulder pain or whatnot? Was there anything like that?
Nothing really. I mean, I went to school for automotive technology, so I was kind of like, instead of waiting for things to get bad, I wanted to get the massage chair to prevent things from getting bad.
Right on.
So I didn't really have any bad back issues or something, other than evidently a vertebra that wasn't popping, that was connected to my pelvis. But no, I got it really as more of a preventative measure so that I didn't. I wasn't 40 years old going like, oh yeah, I can't get out of bed, you know.
You mean like me?
Right. Yeah.
That's what happens. It happens. Now, have you noticed any other, since you got the chair, have you noticed any other physiological changes? Like, I don't know, and it may not be related to pain because you don't have pain, but could it be something like, but sleeping better, or feeling like you've got more range of motion, or being able to breathe deeper? Have you noticed anything like that at all?
Actually, I hadn't really thought about it, but since I have the massage chair, I have been sleeping amazingly. And I actually suffer from insomnia occasionally.
Really?
And I haven't had any problem sleeping really since I got it. I don't know if that's coincidence, but I never really thought about it. But no, I've been sleeping like a baby. I do notice that I have a lot more energy when I get out. Like, it's kind of weird because one side of me kind of feels rubbery and I don't want to do anything, and the other side of me is like, I have all this
ready to go.
Yeah, it just pumps me up. So the extra energy, I just feel better throughout the day since I've had it. Anytime I get out of it, or just the benefits from having a long day at work and then coming home and sitting in it is
awesome.
It's all that you need, really.
Well, especially if you're on your feet all day, or in your case, if you're working in cars, you're probably doing some lifting and tweaking and turning. Yeah, I think a chair is fantastic for that. The reason I mentioned the sleep thing is because that's one of the most common comments we get from people that own a chair that they hadn't really anticipated was that they sleep better, especially if they use it right before they go to bed. Another thing that some people comment on, and maybe you may not notice it because you're maybe not involved in a sport like golf where there's a lot of rotation, but golfers mention that these chairs often will increase their range of motion, rotation from side to side, so they feel like they've got a better swing. And so you may notice some of that stuff too as you continue to use it, and if you're physically active in sports or whatever, you may notice stuff like that too.
Right. Well, it's funny you say that because my roommate and I went to a yoga class in January, just off the cuff, and I'm not a very graceful or
flexible
person.
Guy.
Yeah, and he was like, I'm really impressed by how flexible you were, and I was like, I don't think I'm very flexible, but I never really thought about the overall kind of benefits of the chair. But now you mention it, I mean, I have been sleeping better than I have in probably years.
Wow.
I mean, maybe I am more flexible. I guess I never really thought about it.
Well, you never measured it, so how do you know? But the reason we found out about that was we went on TV on a TV show here in Utah, and we had a subject come on to sit on the chair, and we measured his range of motion before he sat on the chair and after he sat on the chair, and it showed he had a 35% increase. Now, a percent increase in motion. Now, in the low back, 35% is not a ton because the low back only moves about 1 degree per vertebral segment. But 35% increase on any range of motion is good. And that's kind of how we didn't realize it did that until we did that measurement. But that's a pretty cool thing. So hopefully you'll notice other things as time goes on.
Yeah.
Any suggestions that you have for people out there that are looking for a chair? Any words of wisdom or advice or tips?
Always make people take their cell phone out of their pocket before they get in the chair.
Yeah, okay.
Rule number 1.
Change, keys, cell phones.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Mostly cell phones, though, because we've had 2 people lose their cell phones in the chair, and one of them got crunched.
Oh, no.
And, it is what it is. So now anytime somebody comes over, which is a hit, having a massage chair is a hit with people. I love that part about it. Anytime somebody comes over, I don't know if I'm a lazy host, but I just go, hey, sit in this massage chair, and then I leave for 20 minutes and do my own thing, and I come back and they think I'm awesome, and I'm like, sweet, you're really easy to entertain.
Oh, that's great.
But it's great, and I love it.
You're such a lazy entertainer, or you're such a lazy host, but
hey, it works for me.
Everybody loves a chair. Everybody loves them. They're like people magnets.
It is a magnet. And I'll have people now making excuses to come over to my house, and I know that they just want to sit in the chair.
That's called being used, and that's perfectly okay with a massage chair. Just remember now to refer them to us when they get out of school or whatever, and they hit their payload. Have them come and buy a chair from us.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But yeah, no, I would say tips and tricks. I'd say number 1, get your cell phone out of your pocket. One thing to be serious though, I realized in the beginning, not having a massage chair before, I had to kind of force myself to be relaxed by it. It was hard for my body to let the relaxation in. And a lot of people were like, you should put the TV in front of it, or you should, you could play it on your cell phone while you're in it. And I would suggest to anybody, if they're thinking about doing that, to not, and to just have the massage chair by itself in a quiet corner, with maybe some mood lighting. I finally got like a little lamp that was kind of soft lighting, and someplace that you can just go and do nothing but be in the massage chair, because I find anytime I get distracted and I'm in the chair, I don't get kind of the full effect from it. You know what I mean?
That's a great idea. So you're basically saying when you first sit in the chair, to get accustomed to it, maybe just focus on relaxing when you're in the chair without being distracted by anything else.
Yeah.
Because that chair is an aggressive chair, so I could see why you'd want to focus maybe on, okay, I've got to relax while this chair is going up and down my back because I want to get the full benefit from it. Is that kind of what you're saying?
Yeah, exactly. And, I think, I don't know if it was being a guy or that I've not been on a massage chair, but, it is kind of aggressive, so it feels almost intrusive the first time. And so, I kind of like clench up against it, you know, like not that much, but I could tell that I was kind of fighting the chair, and
Right.
it took me having to consciously force myself to relax and so on and so forth to really kind of get the full effect of the chair.
Right on. That's a great suggestion. And most of the Chinese-made chairs are aggressive that way, and so it takes a little focus. Some of the Japanese chairs are more gentle, and so it's easier to relax. But yeah, I can see that. That's a great suggestion. Any other things that you want to share before we close off today? Anything that I haven't covered that you might want to say?
Um, just that if anybody happens to see this and is thinking about it, just do it. You know, there have been a lot of times I'm like, should I have spent that money on the chair? And then I go sit in it, and I'm like, absolutely, yes, 100%.
Right on.
And my experience with you, doctor, has been amazing. I keep telling people that if you were to sell used cars, you'd be a millionaire.
Thank you.
Because the market is a lot bigger, I have to imagine, with used cars than with massage chairs.
Yeah.
I mean, the service has been amazing. The price was amazing. Everything. It was
Thank
probably
you.
one of the best sales things ever in my life. You
Wow.
know, thing.
Wow. Thank you.
So I honestly tell everybody who has an ear to buy one from you. See
Thanks.
if them stick or not. But you know, if anybody out there happens to watch this and they're on the fence, I'd say just do it.
Go for it.
You can afford it. You can figure it out. It's worth it. It's one of those things I told my wife that we didn't know we needed until we had it.
Yeah.
And now that we have it, I don't think we'd be able to go without one.
Wow, that's fantastic. Well, that's great advice. Thank you, and thanks for your kind words. Well, Garrett, thanks. I'm going to put this up on YouTube probably later today, and we'll start sharing it with our massage chair world. But I really, this is awesome. It's been great talking to you, and you've got such great feedback and input. So thanks a lot.
Hey, no, thank you, doctor. I really appreciate everything.
All right, buddy. See ya.
Have a good one. Bye.
Take care. Bye bye.